How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today as we have a look at the brand new DC Multiverse Collect and Collect Ninja Batman wave of action figures from Mattel. This has been a very highly anticipated wave of figures because it consists of Nightwing, Beast Boy, Starfire, John Stewart Green Lantern, the television version of Black Lightning, and also Wally West Flash. So without further ado, let's begin to look at them. For one, they all come in that blue packaging that all of the newer Multiverse figures come in. So we're going to expect pretty much the same thing from all of them. They've all got that great big window in the front so you can see what all of the figures look like before you bring them home, as well as what accessories and collect and connect pieces come inside the package. However, it's not the packaging that we bought this for, is it? Nope. We bought this for what's on the inside. So let's start with Nightwing. DC Rebirth Nightwing. Dick Grayson, the first Robin, left the nest and ventured out on his own as a hero called Nightwing, protecting both Gotham City and Bloodhaven. And here's what we get. We get Nightwing, 2 Ischema sticks, 2 extra hands, and Batman's leg. Here's a closer look at those fists that he comes with. They got the knuckles right there, there's some detail right there in the fist, and the thing is, they're both exactly the same, just one's a left and one's a right. Here's one of the Ischema sticks. Very simple. You can see that it's textured, blue on one end, blue on the other. One's a bit longer than the other when it comes to the blue, but very simple design, and that's really all it needs to be. Oh yeah, and here's Ninja Batman's leg up close. It's painted neatly enough and sculpted neatly enough. I actually don't have the only other Ninja Batman figure to compare this to once it's all together, which we will be doing at the end of the video. And then of course we have the Nightwing figure, which has very little in the way of newly sculpted detail. The fists and also the top of his gloves, that's newly sculpted detail in comparison to anything that we've seen before. And I don't know for sure, but I think that his boots, at least the bottoms here, have newly sculpted details as well. The figure is a nice matte black color. I will point out that the actual gloves are a different color than the rest of the uniform, but the blue is painted on nice and crisp on this figure. Absolutely no well, I was going to say absolutely no complaints, but nope, looks like quality control crapped the bed again. That looks bad. But aside from that scuff, which I'm sure that not everyone's going to get, it's just I get this stuff because it's just my look! As for the face sculpt, I like this very much. I think that it looks accurate to the Rebirth version of Nightwing. It actually captures, in my opinion, his facial features actually pretty good. And it's also painted really nice as well in comparison to some of the quality control issues we can have with Mattel action figure faces. Overall, it's a very cool looking figure, and as far as I'm concerned, it was one of the figures that made me want this wave. I would have wanted the wave anyway, I suppose, but if I was someone who was choosy, this definitely would have been one of the ones I would have just cherry-picked. As for comparison time, I've got him in between the DC Universe Classics on this side and the Batman Missions on that side. Arkham Knight here, Hush there, and then a little custom head swapperoo Nightwing with the Batman Missions and the DC icons. So there you go. If you're wondering if this Nightwing will sub in to go with your DC Universe Classics Batman, well, hold on a second. Okay, I'm aware that this is a custom, but you get the idea. This is a DC Universe Classics body buck. Thoughts on this figure before I move on to the next one would be, you'll notice that this is on the medium-sized male buck, and there's actually nowhere at all, anywhere on the figure, to place his fighting sticks. You'd figure that they would do at least something like they did with the DC Universe Classics and have it on the back, but nope, absolutely nothing. Anyhow, moving on. And next we have Beast Boy. Gar Logan is the wisecracking member of the Teen Titans who relies on his sense of humor as much as his shape-shifting ability to fight evil. Let's open it. Whoop. Okay, and here's Beast Boy. Comes with Batman's left arm, a katana, and the bat scabbard for the katana. Let's start with the collect and connect piece this time and get it out of the way. So here is what his arm looks like. Bat scallops, fist. We'll look closer at this at the end of the video. Oh, psst, by the way, this fist, this also came with Beast Boy as well. I missed it. There you go. Here's the scabbard for the bat katana. You can see it's got 4 little golden bat designs right there. You got the wrap up top. It's open at the back. That's kind of a strange design. And then you've got his katana. This looks really nice. I like this katana a lot. They've done a great job of capturing the wrap as it goes around the handle. I think that this looks absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Batman's katana just fits right there in the scabbard. Like, well, that's a tight fit. That is a tight fit. Look, it doesn't fall out. That's nice and tight. Still think that that's kind of a strange design choice though. And we got Beast Boy. Beast Boy, as far as I can tell, is like at least 90% brand new sculpted detail. For serious. His feet, his calves, his hands, his forearms, his head, his chest. That's all brand new sculpted detail. I don't know for sure about his shoulders, his biceps, knees, and upper legs. I'm going to assume that that's just basic body buck parts. But there's a lot of new sculpted detail on this figure. I really, really like it. The paint for this one, it looks pretty crisp. It's not perfect, but it does look pretty good for what it is. They sculpted the zipper down the front, not on the bottom, but the zipper has been sculpted up here. And all along his gauntlet, his forearm, this is all newly sculpted detail, as is the back of his torso and his bushy calves. Even Beast Boy's feet have been sculpted really nice. I like this figure's sculpted detail a lot, actually. And Beast Boy's face is sculpted nice, and it's also painted pretty neat as well. I'm very happy with figure number 2 in this review series, that the face actually looks really good. Now the only comparison I'm going to make, as you can see right here, is with the DC Universe Classics Beast Boy / Changeling. The DC Universe Classics one is much shorter. This is so much more of a girthy figure. I mean, even when we take into account the fact that the Multiverse figures are a little bit bigger, this one still seems a little bit big. Nightwing! Beast Boy seems a little bit kind of big, if you ask me. I think that he's supposed to be smaller than Nightwing, if I remember correctly, as in like looking at any picture of him I've ever seen ever. I think he's supposed to be smaller than that. Anyhow, moving on. Next figure. Wally West! Yep, it's Wally West. DC Rebirth Wally West. Wally West has re-established his connection with the Speed Force, the extra-dimensional energy that powers all speedsters. And that's that. Let's open him. Whoosh. Out of the packaging, here's what we get. 2 of these silver lightning bolts, 2 running hands, Ninja Batman's right arm, and an extra fist. And of course, we get Wally. Wally, 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 Wally. Here's the lightning. This mold has been used before. Here's an example of it right here. We got the exact same lightning, and we get 2 of them. They just fit on Wally's wrists. Like a so. And here's a closer look at them there. Running hands. These have been used before. I'm actually going to take off the other open hand just because... Why does he come with an open hand to grasp something? He doesn't come with an accessory to hold. I'll just put both running hands on him. That seems a little bit more like it makes sense, although it also looks like he kind of wants to play pat-a-cake or maybe breakdance or something. Here's a closer look at that right arm that came with Wally West that goes on the Ninja Batman, and we'll take a much better look at this at the end of the video while it's on the body. And also here's a look at the right fist that you can interchange onto the right arm. Now, as for the figure of Wally itself, it looks absolutely fantastic, if not a little bit basic. I must admit that the paint apps on this one absolutely aren't perfect. There are a few places where it gets a little, how you shall say, messy. And things don't quite line up where they're supposed to. Like you got a spot there, what's that? And you got that, it's, that's not supposed to be like that. But overall, I think that this actually is a pretty neatly painted figure. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's red with a more darker red there and then the silver lines. And then onto the face. What do I think about this Wally West face sculpt? I think if I had to judge this on overall Walliness appeal, I think that it looks okay. I don't think that it looks terrible. The actual facial features have been sculpted and painted neatly. So now we're 3 for 3. The hair has been sculpted in a softer kind of orange rubber to signify his gingerly locks. But if I had one thing that I would like to raise a concern about, it's that Wally's head actually seems to be just a little bit proportionately too large for his body. And definitely too large in comparison to, say, Nightwing's or Gar's. I mean, I know that his head is supposed to be bigger, but I don't recall Wally supposedly supposed to be having such a bulbous head. Yeah, it could just be me. I might just, you know, be being picky. Here you can see I've got Wally West alongside Wally West, Wally West, Wally West, and Wally West. Some are DC Universe Classics, some are DC Direct, but all are Wally. And on a final note, I think that that lightning bolt on his chest has been painted on really, really clean and crisp, and think that this is also a fantastic attempt on Mattel's part to give us a rebirth Wally West. I don't know if we'll ever see another one. This might be it. Next, Starfire Princess Coriander. DC Rebirth Starfire, Princess Coriander, was enslaved on her home planet, Tamaran, but escaped her captors and fled to Earth, joining the Teen Titans. Personally, this was a figure that I was really excited. Oh, I ripped it. Oh well, I don't plan on keeping the box anyway. Oh gosh. Ta-da! Batman's head. We'll put that off to the side. Batman's softish, rubbery ninja cape comes complete with neck peg. We'll stick that off to the side too. These little gummy ninja stars are softer than I thought they were going to be. These are really rubbery. They're not actually ninja stars. I keep calling them that. It's actually her power. It's her power blasty. What exactly would I call those? Anywho, here they are. And we have Starfire. And this is everything that came in the package. Oh my god. Would you look at that? What the heck is that? Ah, is that a scuff? That's a scuff. Tisk Mattel. Screwing up on that there quality control again, and I'm one of your supporters. Anyhow, this is the figure. I think overall, this is a major improvement over the DC Universe Classics version of Starfire, and it's the most highly articulated Starfire that we've ever received. And you'll see that when I compare her to the DC Collectibles New 52 version. Aside from the stupid scuff on her side, I think that Mattel did a pretty good job with Starfire. It's just your basic female body buck parts. I don't believe there's really any new sculpting aside from the torso where her green gem is. Other than that, I think that this is all just basic multiverse female body parts. I think maybe her high-heeled boots, I think they're unique to Corey, but the legs, the knees, the thighs, the tummy, the upper arms, the forearms, I don't think the fists are unique to her at all. I think that this is very much a reused female body. As far as the paint apps go on this thing, I mean, seriously, it's definitely lacking. Right there, there's some smudges right there. We've already seen that. Right around here, this could be definitely neater. There's a spot right there where it's kind of messy. You know, I think that as far as quality controls go, they didn't do a very good job on Starfire Day in the Mattel factory. And that face sculpt, oh, this is going to be difficult to actually light because she's got all that hair in front of her face. I'm going to get those lights right in front of her. The face sculpt for this one, I think that the face sculpt looks good. The hair is not translucent, at least not that I can tell. Let's get some light behind it and show. Oh, well, what do you know? The hair is indeed translucent. You know, I do gotta say, though, I think that they shrunk her head in the process of getting it ready to put on this body. I somehow think that they made the head smaller than what we first saw at the conventions. Here's what Coriander looks like when you attach those power discs to her. You know, if you ask me, it's actually, they're very Marvel Legends-like. You know, like Doctor Strange came with these, and so did the Scarlet Witch. For comparison time, Starfire will be joined by the DC Universe Classics Uniboob Starfire, and also the exquisitely sculpted DC Collectibles New 52 Ariana Grande Starfire. Personally, I think that this one looks way better. But this one has more articulation. And this one looks like she stole grandma's panties. And not because I'm going to do the articulation segment yet, but I did say that I would point out the differences. Single jointed knees, double jointed knees. They both have single jointed elbows, only this one's also rotate. Wrist hinge, no wrist hinge. This one does have a bicep swivel where this one doesn't, but it's plain to see that this Starfire is absolutely going to have more articulation. Overall, I don't think that, Overall, I don't think that she's a terrible figure, I just don't think that she's a great figure either. Next, Green Lantern, Jon Stewart. DC Rebirth, Jon Stewart. Former U.S. Marine Jon Stewart uses his military training and discipline to protect Earth as a member of the Green Lantern Corps. And that's it. Let's open it. Out you come. Oh no, the body part came out first. Get out. And this is everything that comes in Jon's package. You got these two extra fists. The first one is just a basic, closed, punching, flying fist. While the other one is actually quite cool. It's the ring finger with a blast of green energy popping out the ring. I like this. I'm going to use this if I put him in any flying poses and have that as the fist that's, you know, whoosh. And here's the Batman Ninja torso. Sculpted nicely. For the most part, it's painted pretty nice. Although, what is that? What is that? Another paint scuff. For why do we always have the issue of paint going where it's not supposed to? Isn't there anybody looking at even 1 out of 10 of the final product? This should not be leaving the factory floor and going to retail. Stop it. And we have Jon Stewart, who is a figure that I personally was actually very, very excited about. Jon Stewart is one that I when you hear people in the action figure grapevine talking about figures that they're excited about or that they're not excited about, a lot of people were like, why do we need another Jon Stewart figure? Well, I don't know. We didn't technically need any figure, but Jon Stewart was one that was chosen. And I, for one, am happy about that. The figure actually looks pretty good for the most part, except for the fact that the green paint where it connects to the black is definitely messy. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, what do you expect? The back, for the most part, looks pretty good, except for there's more, yeah, what do you expect? The little ring on the tip of his finger, I mean, that's been sculpted on quite nice, though. And now it's blurry. And the lantern symbol on his chest looks pretty darn good for what it is. There is a little scuff right there, but I'm not going to complain about that one. Now, what about Jon's head sculpt? Well, I really like the skin tone for his face. I think it looks very natural, and I think that it's been painted actually really nice as well, at least as far as the eyes and the eyebrows go. However, as with the rest of the figures so far in this wave, there's something screwy about the paint. They got the gradient that actually works on this side to show that it's been shaven nice and short up to the top. But then it's like, what happened there? That's not right. And more, what the heck? Just, the quality control on this wave and the last wave and the wave before that has been pretty much atrocious. It also would have been nice, like with the rest of them, to see some more sculpted detail. Maybe a line right here at the top of his forearm here. Maybe some boot lines. But honestly, I really can't expect to see that, because if Soups didn't get new sculpted detail on the top of his boots, then there ain't no way we're gonna see that with Jon. That's just not gonna happen. For our first Jon Stewart comparison, I had the new 52 from DC Collectibles, and I have the classic DC Direct version of Jon Stewart. And then we have the Total Heroes, the DC Universe Classics, and the very annoyed looking DC Icons. A very cool figure, actually. Final thoughts on this Jon Stewart figure before moving on to the next one would be, with this figure they had a chance to right the wrongs of the DC Universe Classics version, that being, this one didn't come with a lantern and didn't have open fists to ever hold one. Meanwhile, this one actually came with an open hand. Why not include the lantern? If there's one accessory that you include with a Green Lantern figure, it's a lantern. And finally, we have the TV show version of Black Lightning. If I'm being honest, I've never seen even one episode, and it's on Netflix. Retired vigilante Jefferson Pierce returns to battle crime as the electricity-controlling Black Lightning. I really should try to watch that show. Let's open it. Zowie! Here's the leg. Up close, far away. 2 basic closed punching fists. 2 electricity fists. These are kind of cool, actually. And Black Lightning. And all in the package here is everything together in a nice, quaint, happy little family photo. And as far as I'm concerned, even though I'm someone who's never seen even one episode of the TV show, I really feel like this is the standout figure of the entire wave. I mean, just look at all the brand new sculpted detail on this guy. And I mean, it seems to me to be movie accurate. I mean, the paint apps on this guy look pretty neat. This guy looks really good. And I can't help it, for a character that I like and I wish we got the comic book version, I really feel like they at least did a fantastic job of what they decided to do, which was the TV version of Black Lightning. I just can't imagine looking at this and thinking that Mattel screwed this one up. I use those words because a lot of people feel like everything Mattel does as far as DC goes is just them screwing it up. But this guy looks fantastic. And of course, look at the face sculpt up close too. Don't you think that that looks absolutely fantastic in comparison to the actor it's meant to portray? The skin tone looks great. The mask he's wearing also looks fabulous. I'm telling you, if I was the dude that played Black Lightning, I would absolutely own my own action figure if it looked as good as this. As far as a Black Lightning action figure comparison, there can be only one. Well, that's because I only have the other one. It's the DC Universe Classics Black Lightning. I used to have a DC Direct one, but it kind of got chewed by a dog, so that's all I got left. I gotta say, I really feel like the TV version of Black Lightning is absolutely better than the comic book one. Although, again, if I'm being honest, I probably would have rather gotten another comic book version of Black Lightning. This DC Universe Classics one is sloppy. As far as articulation, all the dudes have pretty much the exact same points and range of movement, so I'll do them all together. All their heads are on ball pegs. These ones kind of click for some reason. Shoulders on the swivel hinge, rotating biceps, single jointed elbows, and none of them really get anything beyond that. See? Except for Black Lightning, who, yes, he does have the single jointed elbow, but his also rotates, where the rest of them don't. They've all got hinged swivel wrists, and an ab crunch, crunching forward, and leaning back. Kinda. Tornado waist all the way around 360. The insides of all their groins, they're all on ball joints. Every single one of them, even the Flash. And they've all got a thigh cut that rotates 360. Double jointed knees that can all crunch up like so. Yes, even Black Lightning has the double jointed knees. And every single one of them has ankle pivots with the hinges that go forward, backwards, and all the way around in pivoty fashion. So as you can see, all the dudes have the same articulation points, more or less. Starfire's is a little bit different. I mean, yes, her head is on a ball peg. That giant chunk of fiery translucent hair absolutely gets in the way, but it is on a ball peg. Her shoulders have the hinge swivel just like the rest of them, and they're single jointed just like most of the female action figures in the multiverse, but they also rotate. She's got those spinny peg hinges for wrists, and like the rest of the female multiverse figures, no ab crunch. Instead, it's underneath the chest here. And, you know, some people like it, some people don't. I like it. I like the fact that it's underneath the chest, and it doesn't break up the actual body of the figure too much. Ball jointed groin, a thigh cut up here at the top of the boot, double jointed knees, and high-heeled ankle pivots, which go forward and backwards. There's actually a lot of movement and posability here, although I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to pose her with those gigantic stilettos. And that's it for Starfire's articulation. Different than the males, but very similar to the rest of the females in the multiverse. Okay, wow, Super Friends, we've done it. We've looked at all 6 of the figures in the wave. And that can mean only one thing. It's collect and connect time. Woo! Okay, so we're going to start with the torso first. We're going to stick on his right leg here. We're going to stick the peg in. Yeah, just like that. And then we're going to stick in the other leg. Just like that. Now we've got his arms. Let's put them on now. Just going to snap it in the socket. Like that. Oh, they really click in there tight. Oh. Well, you know it's not going to come out anytime soon. Now, let's do the cape. There's a little peg there, and there's a little hole there. And we're just going to pop it on there like that. And now it's time for the head. We'll just pop it right there on the peg. Oh, that's kind of a tight fit. There's also the 2 fists, but I mean, do I really have to put the extra fists on there? Maybe you'll see them during the photo montage at the end. And then we have the sword and scabbard, and they just attach on the body via, where do they attach on the body? Do they, I don't see a place for them. Does that mean that he just holds on to them? Hold on a second. Technically on the packaging here, it does appear that he's just holding on to it. Huh, there's not like a place that it attaches on the side? You're just supposed to have him holding on to it? That's okay. And voila, here we have it, all complete and put together, Ninja Batman. Or really, I would look at this and think Samurai Batman. I don't see a ninja at all, at least not a stereotypical North American idea of what a ninja looks like. This looks to me more like what I would think a Samurai Batman would look like, and not a Ninja Batman. So for one, the cape is actually made out of a soft rubber. It's not a hard rubber, which is cool. I like the little dangly pieces at the end of his cape there. That looks good. This is actually a really well done Batman cape. The armor pieces all over his body, they look fantastic. And the paint apps on this are pretty neat, except for that, that's a mess. But other than that, I do think that they're pretty neat. They're consistent, I think, with what I've seen of images online of the Ninja Batman. Yeah, no complaints. It's sculpted really nice as well. He's got the MC Hammer parachute pants tucked into his high boots here. And I think for what it is, I think that the Ninja Batman looks really nice. Let's actually go over the articulation first quickly as well. Tornado waist, crunchy ab crunch, the head's on a hinged ball peg, and my goodness, can he ever look up and down. Shoulders, spinny biceps, double elbows, which is good for a ninja figure. If you're not a bendy ninja, then what are you? Hinged, spinning wrists. What that groin do? He's got double jointed knees that, well, I mean, I suppose they crunch up as much as they can considering you have these gigantic airbag legs. Not to mention he's got a thigh cut and hinged ankle pivots. So if you're looking to get him into all kinds of ninja-ly poses, you probably will have no problems with this one. Holy smoke, Super Friends! We actually made it all the way through 6 figures and the Collect and Connect Ninja Batman in one video. Now overall, I think that it's a strong selection of characters. I would probably call this the Titans wave and not the Ninja Batman Collect and Connect wave if I'm being honest, because of Wally West Flash, Nightwing, Beast Boy, and Starfire. They're all solid character selections, and I think that a lot of people are going to be really happy to get Wally and Dick and Gar and Coriander. Ninja Batman, not so much for me. I mean, he's an interesting looking figure, but I'm not really that interested. I haven't even watched the animated movie. Jon Stewart's always a good selection for me. I'm always happy to get another John Stewart Green Lantern, so absolutely no complaints on that piece of character selection. Like I said previously, I likely would not have chosen the TV-verse version of Black Lightning. I would have gone with the comic book version, but I know that a lot of you folks are very happy to get this guy, and he is a very cool looking figure. I have to give him that. Now, if you are on the fence about getting these guys, I can absolutely tell you they're certainly worth getting your hands on if you're a Nightwing fan, if you're a Titans fan, if you're a Wally West fan. This is a good wave of figures. I would say if you're really picky about the paint, wait until you can find them and look at them in hand, say at Walmart or Target or whatever. But if you really want to order these online, I personally get all of my new waves of Multiverse figures, at least the last 4. I've gotten them all from Walmart store. Why? Because they get them to me faster than absolutely anybody else I've ever seen. People are always asking how I managed to get my hands on them so quick, and now you know. Because speed is the key. Walmart store is for me. Anyway, that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, found it useful, insightful, entertaining in some kind of way, shape, or form. If you have, please take the time to leave a like on it. Any comments you have, blast them down in the comment section below. If you want to see more of my face and hands show up in your inbox on a fairly regular basis, well, you know what to do. I invite you to become a super friend today and join the DC squad by hitting the subscribe button and dinging the bell. And when you do, you'll know when I put out brand new videos. And if you see something you like, you can tour on over to my YouTube page, have a little gander at what I've just released, and maybe peek around to some of the other stuff in the archive. But yeah, I've said all I can say, so I'm done. Thank you so much, Super Friends, for watching, and have a DC day. Take care, everybody.